All right, there you go, live. So
All
we're
right.
actually live streaming this, right? We're coming you on YouTube, on Facebook in the Maverick Times, Facebook, the Isaac T. Ruiz page. We're on Twitch, we're on Twitter. Just coming on. We have 0 viewers. We're just gonna wait a little bit, Mr. Camarillo.
Of course, yeah, they'll get
I
here.
I know some people are gonna catch the live stream, catch the video, but we want to wait and have some interaction in our video. So we're
Oh,
waiting for
definitely.
people to come on. So those that start here, those that are watching the video from the very beginning, we are gonna interview a candidate for City Council, City of Eagle Pass City Council, place 3, Mr. Ruben Camarillo. Please feel free to ask questions away. We will get to a section where people can, throw some questions. I don't think Mr. Camarillo's been shy about answering questions from the public. So we'll have a little section there. Just so everybody knows, we also got our little donation sign somewhere around there. Feel free if you like our content, like what we do, trying to get the truth out of these people that are running for public office. So feel free. Always enjoy the $5, $20. Buy me a beer, pay my car.
Always support,
whatever, right?
support.
Okay, so we got about 15 on. That's gonna grow.
Awesome.
We're within 2 minutes right now. So guys, thank you for joining in. Of course, we have been a little bit quiet for a while, and it's no coincidence. It's election time, so that's our bread and butter, and we like to, have our interviews with prospect candidates. And this is no different. We have Mr. Ruben Camarillo. We're going to go ahead and let him introduce himself and have a little background, short, brief background of where you're coming from and why you want to run for, or what inspired you to run for office here in Eagle Pass.
All right. Thanks, Isaac, and thank you for having me on. And thanks everybody for joining in. So let's do it. So my name is Ruben Camarillo, and I am running for City Council Place 3 here in Eagle Pass. I am from Palm Springs, California, and I was in the military for about 6 years. Came to Eagle Pass with my fiance. I met her here, or actually met her in Cotulla, and now I live here. I made the decision to run for City Council because I came to Eagle Pass and totally fell in love with it. I loved how how the small businesses operate, how the community operates. It just felt like such a great place to be. A lot of good, very family oriented, and I really didn't think about this until after all these elections happened, and I felt like maybe I can do my part and serve the community in my own way. So I created a podcast, which is Now You Know Eagle Pass, if anybody has ever seen it. It's to touch base on politics and promote small businesses free of charge. Not charge anybody for it. That's just my way of giving back to the community that's given a lot to me so far. And I wanted to take it a step further. I wanted to make the decision. I talked with my wife or my fiance about it. Well, she's my wife. We'll just call her my wife already. But I talked to my wife about it, talked to my son and it was a long, hard process, and we thought about it, and I said, you know what, let's do it. I wanted to go ahead and take it to the next level, and do something good for this community and do something that, that can change for the better.
Awesome. And you say you come from California, right? You said?
Yes, sir.
Born and raised, nice. I have a family actually over there, and I think a lot of us do have, family back and forth from California, right?
Oh yeah.
Awesome. Well, we won't be too subtle for too long, right? Let's dive into this, right?
Yeah, let's do it.
Whatever. All right. So I mean, of course, we've conversated in the past and everything about certain situations that seem to keep arising here in the city of Eagle Pass. we'll go ahead and keep it, specific to the city of Eagle Pass because that is a position you're running for. Now, there has been, just recently the terrible project that went down at the Bib and Misty Willow. I understand that you had some comments about that. It's difficult, and I've seen this in the background. Just a little back, story on that. I worked for the Public Works Department for about 8 years. I did a lot of different jobs there. I know the guys that are out there now having to do, well, literally clean up the mess, right? And those guys, it's unfortunate the salary that they get paid versus contractors and what the contractors get paid.
Right.
I can tell you because it's something we fought many times, many years with the former director there, the salary of these guys. And it's one thing that, I hold close to me because, I worked there and I did a lot of my maturity growing up there with the city of Eagle Pass. So a lot of people tend to say, who cares? Why are you so into city of Eagle Pass? That place did help raise me and mature me a little bit, right? But getting to the point, it's a tragedy. We just found out that there was no performance bond on this project.
That's a shame.
So it would be, yes, it's going to be a complete fail. Now, and it's disappointing. I'll go ahead and bring it up because I know you were a strong supporter of one of the councilwomen that was on there.
Yes.
And I don't want to, put you on the hot seat so much about it. But I mean, and I was totally bought in on that councilwoman as well. And how are you going to follow up a performance like that? Because we really thought that she was for the people. And this is strictly my opinion, right? And I think that that's what we really need from somebody that runs for these positions, because as you're seeing going through the political and seeing things develop from the inside, as a candidate, you're going to see a lot of these people that are related to each other, officials, and it's a theme here, and they don't tell you up front. You have to look into it and be a seasoned person around here, have some experience, know some people to eventually find out or know who's related to who.
Right.
What is Ruben Camarillo going to do to prevent something like that project happening? And would you allow a project like that to go without a bond? I mean, or sometimes I understand that this could happen, but would you hold those accountable for this hiccup? It's not a hiccup. It's a
failure. Yeah.
Wow. All right. Yeah. But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to steal the talk there. No. But it's, I mean, what is Ruben Camarillo going to do to prevent things like that? Because we were real compassionate about certain people that, we even, stamped them. Hey, we're voting for these guys because we feel that they are going to make a change.
Right.
And it's business as usual, the status quo. So, I mean, I don't mean to, put that big old shoe on you right there and making you fit on it. But how is Ruben Camarillo going to get this done for the city of Eagle Pass and its residents?
You know what, Isaac? The thing that people really don't think about is it's okay to say that you support a city council member. It's okay because that's your candidate. That's somebody who you voted for. It's okay to say that you still believe in them, but it's also okay to criticize them. You can, that you're a public servant, you're going to get criticized. Okay. And I have absolutely, and I'm sure she can understand. And I know that she won't take it personal to be criticized. And again, and like you said, I am a big supporter of Miss Monica Cruz, of Councilwoman Cruz. I still do believe in her. But when it comes to the Misty Willow and project, you got to take accountability. Okay, you have to be the one to say, even though it's a 3 or it's a 4-person effort, you have to be willing to say, you know what, this was our fault. This was a big mistake. We need to fix it. Okay, and I think that's something that she really needed to step up and do. When I've actually visited her and talked to her about it. And this is news to me. Like I just got this news from you telling me that this project wasn't bonded.
Yep. Okay, I think that, yeah, we're having a little bit of signal difficulties here. Signal difficulties. Give us 1 second. Give us 1 second. Stand by, guys. Yeah, I could see here the network connection went down on his end. You guys can hear me all right? Sorry about that, guys. We're going to get the signal back right now, and we will. Yeah. Give me 1 second, Ruben, because we're not. We got the signal kind of lost. Okay, they still got me at. It's just a loss of connectivity. We will resume as soon as we get this connection going back. Let me see. Okay. All right. I believe Ruben's gonna log back in with us. And Ruben,
all right, how's that, guys?
There you
so
go.
Sorry, I wonder what happened there.
Go.
I guess if it happens again, I'll just leave really quick. I'll keep a look at my little bars here because
Yeah. I mean, it's at a network issue here, but I think you left off at we were surprised that it wasn't bonded.
Yeah.
And I think we didn't hear.
Oh wow. That. Okay. So no problem. So again, if anybody didn't hear me, I did speak with Councilwoman Cruz about it. I paid her a visit, and she basically told me that, you know what, Mr. Camarillo, this was something that was, it's a contract. People need to understand that it's a contract, and you can't get out of it. That's what took so long. And like the average supporter, I said, okay. No, I trusted her, and I believed her. Was she lying to me? I can't. I don't want to sit there and call her a liar or anything like that. But this is news to me, saying that the project wasn't bonded. So how does that make me feel? You feel kind of betrayed. You feel kind of confused a little bit, and I can't. If I'm feeling this way, how many of these out of the 30,000 people that live here are feeling that way? The actual people that want to vote and make a difference, which everybody should. Mm-hmm. I can't imagine. So that just fuels my campaign even more. And I don't want to jump ahead of you, but really quick, there's being on the campaign trail has been very eye-opening. And if anybody notices how I was before.
Tell us about that. that. Let's jump right to that.
It was very eye-opening. Okay, and if anybody has seen me post before, you can look at my page, go to Ruben J. Camarillo, see me with the hat and everything. It was very eye-opening and very disappointing to find out that, hey, the very leadership that you want to support, because everybody starts with an A in my book. Okay, it doesn't matter what people say. Everybody starts with an A, and I had everybody on my list, with an A. And just finding out, for example, my veterans, I figured, okay, Eagle Pass loves its veterans. We have parades, we have ceremonies. Before every city council meeting, you have a moment of silence for our vets who were lost, or our service members who were lost. And I come to find out that our veterans are nonprofit organizations like VFW and American Legion have to hustle and ask every single year for a parade. And I found that I was just, no way. And this came directly from them. Some key members. I don't want to bring out their name, but they have coffee and donuts every Wednesday at 9:00. Everybody is invited. If you want to talk to them and get their scoop on it, go for it. Because, veterans aren't going to pop up and keep begging people for help. That's just not how we work. It's not how we operate, so they're going to do what they can to make things happen. And I just found it so disappointing. And I made it clear I don't know if you saw it, I made it clear at the city council meeting, which was surprisingly moved to closer to 5:00. I almost missed it until I saw the mayor. They're terrible at posting when these meetings start, by the way. The mayor posts, hey, we have something special for Eagle Pass. 5:00 is when it starts, when normally it starts at 5:30. I went and I presented the case. I had and for anybody who just have their big day with Denny's and Jack in the Box, that just wasn't the case. I had no idea that these new investors were going to be there. I was so nervous. And I said, you know what? My wife told me, you need to get up there and say what you got to say. Doesn't matter who's here. Doesn't matter that the county judge is here. It doesn't matter that these commissioners are here, the media. You need to get up and say it. So I did. I went and I said it. I told them I was disappointed. I think the only person to look me in the eye was Councilwoman Cruz. And I
they tend to do that.
So,
but she is good at being attentive.
Yeah, she is.
I will say that about her.
And again, I can support her and criticize her at the same time. And I'm sure she's not going to take it personal, but there are those who take it personal. And as a candidate, you can't be afraid that our city council or mayor is going to take things personal, because who am I here to please? Am I here to please the people of Eagle Pass, or am I here to please the city council? I'm not here to please the city council. I'm here to serve the community. I'm here for you guys. And I put it all on the table. That's why I posted, you know what, this is probably going to make or break my campaign. I'm probably going to make some people mad, but it had to come out. My veterans are important. My citizens are important. The taxpayers are important. You guys are the ones who make this community. If it wasn't for the citizens of Eagle Pass, this community wouldn't be nothing. Society is nothing without its communities, and communities are nothing without its citizens. So that's what we're here to do. We're here to serve our citizens.
Awesome. No, I mean, I couldn't agree with you any more, man. And the thing I would say here that has been becoming, more relevant, the more you dig, the more you see, is some of these people that hold office, they're just not for the people. They are for themselves. And of course, this is my opinion, not yours, right? And it's getting harder every election cycle to respect anybody that's coming out. And I'm always wondering, because we all thought that Mayor Salinas was going to be, I hate to say this, but kind of a savior of the city.
Right.
And we thought we got rid of, the biggest threat, which would have been at the time Luis Cifuentes.
Right.
And I know that because personally, I've dealt with that man myself as an employee there. Wow, he's a piece of work. But then getting to, our great hope, and it was just, I'm sorry to say, and I second with you should be able to handle criticism. And he's just been, not what we thought, I guess, is the nicest way I can say.
And I'm
that.
sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't mean to cut you off. And I know you asked, what is Ruben Camarillo going to do about this to prevent this kind of stuff? I'm going to make sure people know about it. I'm going to tell the public that I'm going to do this. And it's a team effort. Okay. To make sure that we're not lowballing for these contractors. It's quality. If you're going to pay money for a project, you can't low bid. What was it? Was it $40,000, $20,000?
Actually, I think it was about 400,000, if I'm not
Oh my
mistaken.
goodness.
Yeah.
Way off.
We're actually getting the whole bid, the bid packet, the paperwork. We're gonna submit a request for public information so we can get that entire story.
Okay.
But as far as the bid, the performance bond, there was no performance bond.
That's news to me.
For those that are not familiar, a performance bond is placed on a per project basis, and what a performance bond does, it protects the owner of the project, which in this case would be the city of Eagle Pass. In the case if the project is delayed, the project does not get completed, and in this particular situation with Bib and Misty Willow, the project didn't get completed. The contractor was overwhelmed, did not have sufficient equipment, severely underbid. Like I said, it was somewhere in the hundreds of thousands, if I'm not mistaken. And that should have been caught by anybody with common sense.
Yeah.
Why so much of a difference, right? That's the first thing I'd ask. Anyways, the performance bond is there. So to back up the city, in the case of, this kind of thing happens, well, they're able to get reimbursement for the cost that they're going to incur. That's what a performance bond, it's a kind of insurance, right? So where does the city of Eagle Pass go now that they don't have that bond in place? They wasted months, almost a year, I believe, of the citizens' time. Now they're having to pay out of pocket. They're not going to be able to retrieve anything if there's no performance bond, at least from a performance bond. Maybe they can go after the contractor personally, which I think would probably be the move to do. But there's no performance bond there where they can, get their money back in the immediate. So that's what's critical. The last time I worked with the city of Eagle Pass, that I was involved with bid contracts and stuff like that, especially with the grant work that I did, those performance bonds needed to be in place, or else the project would not be funded. That's how critical these protections for the owner of the projects, which would be the city of Eagle Pass. Let me ask you this one thing. Let's say you're in city council.
Okay.
This happened because I do know, and I'll give from my experience, the issue is either city council did not look into it directly, into all the paperwork to check, or did not question that, and was recommended more than likely from somebody within the city of Eagle Pass, employees-wise. Okay. Whether it was a finance director, whether it was a public works director, whether it was a city engineer, this project was, hey, we recommend you go with this contractor. Now, where would you go from there as a councilman? Let's say you get elected, this kind of problem falls into your lap. You trusted, what they told you, that everything was set, which could have happened, right?
Correct.
Do you, one, let the public know this is going on? Do you keep it from the public? Hope nobody asks questions? Come out and be transparent about it? And how would you hold the city employees or anybody involved? City manager would actually be the one, because you guys would be directly in charge of the city manager. The city manager in turn is in charge of the employees. Would you hold a city manager accountable for that kind of hiccup?
Well, one thing, as over time being a leader, you learn that no matter what happens, it's your fault. You're in charge of making sure that the city manager does what the city manager is supposed to, because the city council in the end is the one who hires the city manager. When something like this happens, you have to take accountability. You have to be willing to say, you know what, and we're human, we make mistakes. We're not perfect. Mm-hmm. Nobody is perfect. Okay. You're going to make a mistake, and you have to be willing to tell the people, this was a mistake on our part. We're going to do this to fix it. We are in discussion right now on how we're going to correct this mistake. I think that and I don't want to put words in people's mouths or thoughts, but I'm sure that the current city council or some people might think that this could be a threat to their election. They're afraid that, oh God, we made this mistake. People are not going to let us live this down. Well, you have to live with your mistakes, and all you can do is correct them, and letting the people know that, hey, we made a mistake. Here's what we're doing to fix it is going to put faith in the citizens when it comes to, and I really hate this word because everybody uses it in their campaign, transparency. Okay. We have a big transparency issue. We know that. Okay. The thing is, are we going to do something about it? And that's what I want to do about it. All right. I want to hold, if I'm allowed to, hold a platform and keep the citizens informed. Hey, if I can't get something done, hey, this is why I can't get it done for you guys. I'm sorry. Okay. And I'm going to do everything I can and try to get ideas from the community, because I represent the community. I don't represent myself. I represent you guys. Okay. So, and that's another part of my platform, which we'll get into later, is citizen involvement. We got to get citizens involved. It is so sad to hear when I go in these city council meetings or when I watch it on Facebook that I have to hear Ms. Imelda Rodriguez tell them that, nope, there's no citizens communications today. It's like a broken record, So I want to get them involved. I want to be able to let people know what's going on. Okay. And if I can't, like I said, if I can't get something done because the rest of the council doesn't want to jump on board with something, I'm going to let them know. If I make a mistake, if I'm not jumping on board with something, I'm going to tell the public, hey, this is why I'm objecting to this. This is why I don't feel good about it.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate, but we live in a community where the elected officials, everybody wants to be transparent until it comes down to actually be transparent.
Yeah. It's crazy.
I mean, that's just the reality of everything, because I mean, when you're an elected official, everything is public record. Of course, what you do in a public capacity, and we have lived, and I'm speaking as somebody that lived here the majority of their lives, born and raised, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've always lived in a veil where you don't ask questions, and you can see from a lot of the media, they don't ask questions. They talk. They allow elected officials to talk, candidates to talk, but they don't ask those questions. And I think that it takes a lot from somebody, and it reveals a lot from someone when they're willing to express themselves publicly, as any political potential candidate should.
Right.
I'm kind of segueing into maybe a little bit too early in the segment, but one of your opponents had an interview with one of our citizen journalists. I believe it was yesterday, the day before, maybe, and he was asked, and I know you responded about it, and maybe you can give us your response afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
But he was asked, Mario Garcia, who is running for place 3 city council. He was asked if he would debate you, and he said, and his tone changed when he said this. If you catch the video, his tone changed, and he said he did not want to waste his time. Now, immediate reaction on that, and any response after?
Well, first of all, I want to make a big shout out to one of the voters who asked him that question, Mr. Rolando Fortiz, who asked the big question. That's the way to go, man. This community can do big things. All you have to do is ask one question, and there it was. My reaction was not surprising. His facial expression kind of said it all, right, when he asked the question. And if I made him mad in some way, I would like to say to Mr. Garcia, it's not personal. It's not personal. But when you're on social media or finally getting interviewed for the first time and saying that the candidates are going to copy your platform, you're afraid to put your platform out because you're afraid to get it copied. That's just flat out nonsense. You have to, and like I said, no disrespect, but this is politics. It's politics, and I'm going to call it out. I see, again, I wasn't surprised. Even my wife said the same thing you did. Look at his facial expression when it changed. Why doesn't he want to debate me? The answer is clear. He doesn't have a platform. I mean, the challenge still stands. If he changes his mind, I'm not gonna hold him against him. I want it, but he doesn't want to, apparently. And I think the person that was interviewing him, I don't think he really knew what I had to offer, and hasn't really seen my page and what I've been talking about for the past since mid-February. So I think he said, "Hey, good answer," as if maybe Mr. Garcia was saying that, like, "Oh, I don't want to waste my time because I'm gonna crush him in a debate." That's just not the case.
No, I mean, we've been, we monitor for when candidates and everything, whenever they come on lives, monitor their video, because I think that that's very valuable, valuable information on who is willing to lead our community. And I love that now we have 3 people for each race, even though I did not expect that. I know, Billy Davis has gone a while without getting contested.
Right.
Challenge. So I'm interested in that. How has the campaign gone? I know that it's fairly fresh into you announcing.
Right.
We still have a while until early election starts. What's that? End of April, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. April.
How has it? April 24th. Okay, it's my father's birthday.
Oh, nice.
Awesome. So, well, he's a Democrat. We won't bring that discussion up.
This is bipartisan.
Yes, yeah. So, moving on. Now, how has your campaign gone? What approaches are you taking? What is it that you are doing in your campaign? Like I said, I know that, it's relatively new and fresh, but what steps are you taking? What's being implemented? And, we want to know what's Ruben Camarillo doing for our community, in preparation to, possibly be elected by us, the residents.
It's been, I gotta be honest. It's hard. It's hard. You have to, like, last night I had no sleep. I was doing so much research on preparing for this. One of the things I was doing last night was trying to find out what I can do, or what the city can do when it comes to city ordinances and protecting their small businesses. Okay, because you got the America's Diner coming in. Okay, and so you got to ask that question, and this should be city council's job to be answering that question. What's going to happen to skillets? What's going to happen to a lot of the small businesses that have pancake, sausage, and eggs? Are they protected? Is because normally what it's called is it's called I believe a diversive ordinance for small businesses. So what that does is, and I don't know if maybe because I was up all night searching through the ordinances of the Eagle Pass website, and I couldn't find it. Mm-hmm. What it does is it kind of separates some of the commercial businesses, and it kind of mixes. It's like a mix of small businesses and big businesses, just so that way small businesses don't get, overcrowded by all the commercial businesses that are coming in, like Denny's, Jack in the Box. I put a lot of thought into that. It's been a lot of work, and I'm more than happy to do it, because I've never been an elected official before. I know that my candidates have never been elected officials before. So that's something that you have to put the work in. And that's something that I've been doing, because I want to go in there prepared. I want to go in there and make sure that I can be effective, because I don't want to go in there and just be like, raise my hand and it's unanimous. I want to have some education. and Miss Imelda Rodriguez, sweet lady, by the way, gave me a huge packet on ordinances and stuff. So I'm slowly going through and reading through, and I'm just doing the best that I can. On top of that, going to school. On top of that, figuring out ways I can campaign. Like I know recently we had I believe I got together with one of the candidates, Miss Sandy, who's running for place one. She had a great idea about giving people the opportunity to sign up to vote at Market Day, and that was such a great idea. But I mean, that's another thing that kind of changed my demeanor of my campaign, because I got a lot of people talking, saying, you know what, I don't want to vote. I think it's hopeless. You know, I don't. What's the point? They're going to win anyways. And that broke my heart. Honestly, I was just like, wow. You know, I really thought, and again, I'll say this again to the public. If anybody has seen my campaign, I was one of those people that wanted to come in, not rock the boat, and try to professionally give out my platform without making anybody mad. But then I see this, and this is just like, oh my goodness, these are discoveries that are just very heartbreaking, and it's something that I know that I need to work harder than the other person to be able to help this community out that desperately needs help. And again, we can't do it without you guys. Those guys who don't want to vote, this is the time. I can promise you that. Okay, this is. I want to represent change. I want to tap in and delve into the deep aspects of what the city actually needs, because right now, and again, I'm not going to take this whole economic development thing away from the city council. Okay, they got that in their mind with, you know, bringing Jack in the Box and Denny's in, you know, but we need somebody to go in and say, hold up, what about Skillets? What about the small businesses? Are we sure? Are we equipped to do this? Because if you think about it, you know, you put the America's Diner here, and then Skillets loses their jobs. Well, doesn't that and I'm sure everybody's chopping at the bit to get a $16 an hour job, like it says. So you're generating more jobs, but in the end, you're putting somebody else out of business and causing them to lose their jobs. So it kind of cancels out, right? Did they think about that? I don't know.
No, I mean, going back on my experience, and that's one of the things that we pushed a lot, especially during COVID. It was the need to bring bigger industry in, which, yes, I understand is needed for growth,
right,
but in a staggered way. Again, I mean, you know, I'm impressed, I'll tell you that much, because that diversity thing, I mean, we were hoping to hear some way your opponent, one of your opponents, and I think I got a little mixed up earlier mentioning about Billy Davis. That was incorrect. You're actually running against Mario Garcia and Miss Ana Laura
Herrera, and then Mr. Okay, Ricardo correct. Lopez. That's four of us going through. And I know nobody's heard of Mr. Lopez.
Oh wow!
Yeah, nobody's heard. And I've actually met.
Wait, him. I didn't hear about that one.
I've actually met him. I went to speak with the VFW, and he's actually a veteran. He's an older gentleman, and he's a really great guy, humble guy. He's trying. But we met, and everybody was kind of surprised to see two opponents under the same roof, sitting at the same table. He asked me to come sit with him, and we spoke a little bit. And you know, very humble guy, great guy. You know. And he's trying, but yeah, that's the third person. I'm not going to bash him or anything, or go into but you know, this is a job.
Do you want to bash any of the other two?
Oh yeah, no, the other two. I'm going to go after the other two. But as far as Mr. Lopez, you know, sir, good luck to you. I will say this though, with all due respect, this is a job that really requires somebody to get in there and kick some doors down and to say what the heck is going on, and question. When decisions, you know, ask questions when a big decision is about to be made. And, you know, again, hats off to him, but, you know, that's just my opinion. Anyways.
Yeah. No, well, I mean, we happened to catch that interview, you know, just by luck with your opponent, Mr. Garcia. And you know, we were asking questions like we normally do when any kind of interview like that goes down. And you know, they were asking them and asking them, and what we were really trying to get is what you just gave us, and that I really appreciate that, because it doesn't matter how many times you say that you want to make Eagle Pass better. There was never anything where he said how.
Right. I watched
You know,
it. Yeah.
how are you gonna? Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course, right?
You know.
And here you're telling us about reading, researching,
I want to.
doing.
There's a comment that says "we us," and I think that kind of reverted to Mr. Garcia constantly saying we want this and we're going to do this, and you know, who's we and us. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to point that comment out.
Well, no, I appreciate that, because I don't think I caught that. So he's always referring to his or something as we and us when he's referring to his campaign, I guess.
Right.
Which is in itself very telling and revealing. I will say that. But let's get to the matter of hand, right?
Okay.
He was given an opportunity. The easiest way to shut me up is to answer my question.
Twice.
Yeah, it's like, how are you going to improve it? And, you know, this is the same repetitive type of thing that we get from these politicians that are, you know, quietly connected, I'm going to call it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just avoiding the question. Because they don't have anything, you know, like I think you mentioned that and you touched on that. And we would have liked to, you know, if it would have gone a little bit more and he was receptive to the questions we were asking. And shout out to Mr. Banda for making that, you know, interview possible and for us to be able to ask those questions. Even though, like you said, he was a little touched by the line of questioning that was going on. But by not only me, let's be fair to me, right? There is other people that are interested in hearing what these candidates are about. So we appreciate you coming on, of course. Now, I'm getting the feeling that there might be a little bit of a worrisome from the team, the we team, the us, right?
Yeah.
How do you move forward with this? Is this like, you know, after that interview that they, you know, publicly gave and everything? I don't know if it was organized or intended or anything like that, but after that went on, after what was said, what is Mr. Ruben Camarillo? How is he moving after that? Do you feel the way he came off as insulting towards you, or he's just running scared because he's running scared? What's your opinion on that?
Oh, it's fear. I have to say it's fear. I took no offense to anything that he said whatsoever. I've been glued to my phone for a while now, trying to figure out when my opponents are going to come out and speak. And when I saw that, you know, it was just, you know, that it's fear. It's fear because I know that I'm coming out and saying, hey, and I'm not afraid to say this. I'm not afraid to say this, that we have some council members and even county officials who are endorsing this gentleman. Sorry, no disrespect. And it's very appalling to me that you have somebody that has not come out and spoke yet. I've been working my tail off, you know, running around, paying, you know, getting some shirts from you know, out of pocket, you know, trying to appeal to the community in some way, speak on social media, which sometimes I really hope that I'm not speaking to myself, because it's been hard just trying to get. I know you've been busy, but you know, other media like major media like the Gram or Business Journal, who offered to give me a 2-minute video and they cut like 30 seconds off of it. So you know, you get what you pay for. So it was really hard, and I, knowing that fear is there, I'm going to work even harder. I'm not going to rest. I'm not going to be like, okay, well, he's running scared, I can rest easy. No way. I am going to hit the ground running. I'm going to capitalize on this, you know, because when you have no, I mean, he didn't even explain why he doesn't want to debate me. Okay. So I offered the challenge. I know he's been seeing it. Again, to Mr. Garcia, nothing personal. It's just I cannot fathom that somebody who has no platform or refuses to tell the public what he's all about with an excuse saying, well, I don't want my opponents to copy my platform. It's absurd. And I refuse, and I've said this before, I refuse to let the public buy into that. I can't do that. I have to work harder. I have to do more research. I need to get less, I need to try to get less sleep and get everything down. I even got my computer in front of me, looking at the budget, seeing what we can do about the budgets, seeing how we can fund our police. Okay, seeing how we can, because we have, $200,000 over in overtime when you have 39 police officers trying to protect 30,000 citizens, 30,000 plus. And the next in this fiscal year coming up 2022 2023, our police are projected to get pay cuts. The only person that's going to make more money, which is a good significant pay bump, is our police chief. And I met him and I think he's a nice guy and all, but if you're getting a pay bump that big, I think you need to do a little more to get up there on these city council meetings and tell them, hey, we need this. This is what we need. We're not getting it. Okay. So the proof is in the pudding. It's all free to the public. And Mr. Garcia hasn't said anything. I watch his videos and I have my wife translating in Spanish because she'll watch it in Spanish. I think Mr. Landa had interviewed him first. And so I'm waiting for her to translate for me. I'm like, what is he saying? What is he saying? And she's like, he's not saying anything. He's not saying anything important. So it's basically, and he made a good point about getting lemons. I don't know if you've seen it, but he made a good point about getting lemons thrown at you and making lemonade. Well, what we've been getting from city council is, we have the lemon. Okay. It might be a little sour, like the truth. And what they want to do is pour too much sugar on it. You pour so much sugar on it, guess what? It becomes something bad for you. All right. And I feel like that's what Mr. Garcia wants to do. He wants to give everybody sugary lemonade, just like the city council. He wants to get a picture of that. And that's not fair. That's not fair to the citizens. You need to give. I'm not scared to give you my platform. I've been, if he would do like I did, which, I know I'm tooting my own horn, post about your views, post about what you're going to do for the city on social media, even if you're talking to yourself. That's proof right there that if somebody mirrors your platform, there's the proof. Here's my proof. I've been speaking since mid-February. So there's no excuse.
Well, do you want to give us your platform since we're here?
Of course.
For the viewers?
Of course. And I have so much, but I'll go over 3 key events. Again, like I said, funding our police is important. We've had a lot of crime go up. Like I said, you look at the budgets right here, go on to eaglepasstexas.gov. You have only 39 police officers for 30,000 plus citizens, not including those who are not even on the census. Okay. And speaking of the census, if people want to blame the census and blame citizens for not participating, whose job is it to push that? City council. You need to get on the horn. Say, hey, we need to get the census down. It's not, the numbers aren't correct. So, and of course, I want to bring up, and God bless them, and I hope they're doing well, the Guardado family who lost somebody, who lost their loved one, and it was very tragic. We had one of their own, a family member or a friend or family member, had to tail the suspect because the police couldn't supply an extra man to survey the number one suspect for murder. Okay, my wife is law enforcement for 20 years. All right, she's Border Patrol, and I've been attached to a unit in Border Patrol too when I was deployed here for the border crisis. You'll have agents that'll only have 2 agents to a whole station because there's not enough manpower. There's nothing they can do about it. So that's something we need to fix. All right, number 2, our veterans. Again, our veterans are not getting taken care of, guys. I already mentioned this. All right. We need to be able to apply for these federal grants, any grants that we can do to fund our nonprofit organizations, because they're struggling right now. Our veterans are important. They're going to go and serve our country from Eagle Pass. And then they're going to come back to Eagle Pass knowing that there's nothing for them. Okay, I when I wanted to get a job here with the city, and that's another thing I'm gonna touch on my next part of the platform. I applied for custodian, and I couldn't even get that. I mean, how do I not qualify for custodian? And you know what I mean? So that's gonna fall.
You're not related to somebody there.
There you go. You know, it's all about who you know. But I'll get to that in just a second. So yeah, we need these grants. We need to fund them. The city needs to be able to lend a hand. The county needs to lend a hand, which that's a county issue. That's something that they need to figure out. But it falls in hand. Okay, the city needs to do what they can to lend a hand to these veterans who are struggling, who have to do plate sales and who have to keep hustling just to get a parade. You know, that's unacceptable. And I went to city council before, saying that, and this is true, that it's verified. I know people were criticizing me and saying, oh, well, he's not from here. It's false news. You know, the parade is on Saturdays. They asked for Veterans Day, for a Veterans Day parade on Veterans Day, and they got denied for an LGBTQ parade in November.
And you will ask the officials, and they will not give you that answer.
No, I asked them. No, I got no phone calls, nothing. No, I mean, they have my number. A citizens communications meeting, you put your number, your address, and they have your information. And if they're really concerned about it, which, you know, Councilwoman Cruz has come to me on occasion on stuff like speed bumps on my street and stuff like that. But I heard nothing about the Veterans Day parade, nothing. So I don't know what the agenda is on that. I don't dislike the LGBTQ community at all, but they have their own month. They have a whole month to themselves. Veterans only have one day. That's absurd. And they still every year have to ask for a parade. That I was so shocked. I was almost in tears knowing that the city council and members on it that I try to get behind and try to support them do that. That was a shocker. And I'm like, oh my God. I really need to work hard and try to get in this thing. You know, I need to get in there and do what I can to help these people. Okay. So, and if you want to touch more bases on that, we can. Finally, I'll go on number 3. I don't want to jabber because I tend to do that sometimes. But, you know, again, citizen involvement. We got to get you guys as citizens involved in decisions, because that's what citizens communication is all about. All right. I think that now it's just become a little decoration. Okay, we're just going to put some papers here and hopefully that it's going to get signed. And then we'll get somebody from citizens communication. And then I saw, which was ridiculous. I'm going to call somebody, I'm going to, you know, tell it like it is, but I don't know if anybody saw the last communications meeting. I believe our Democratic chair was there, and she was just there to, you know, congratulate her, and which, by the way, congratulations to her daughter who was going to Spain. And then she was up there praising Councilman Davis for something, and they had like a little kissy huggy thing going on, and you know, mentally, not physically. And it's like, wow, what issues was she going to bring up? I thought she was going to bring up some issues, and it was just used to praise, you know, Councilman Davis, just for being Councilman Davis, I guess. That's what it's come down to. You know, we need to get the citizens involved. We gotta, and we, by doing that, all it takes is communication. Okay, people want to know what's going on. That's the problem, is that they're not telling us what's going on. And again, this whole transparency thing, we know we have a problem with transparency. What are we going to do about it? I'm going to get on my platform every time, and I'm going to tell everybody, hey, this is what's going on. Okay. Or, hey, I messed up, but hey, you know what? I'm going to do what I can to fix it. I'm on it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do the best I can do. And again, it just comes down to, I'm so flabbergasted that, you know, our members of city council and people from our elected officials in the county are picking Mr. Garcia up and stepping right over me. They're not even looking at what I have to offer. I'm going to be the coworker there. I'm not going to bash everybody. I don't hate anybody on the council. They're going to be my coworkers if I'm elected. So I have to work with them. But they didn't even bother to see what me or the other candidates have to offer? Nothing. They just say, okay, that's the guy. In my opinion, they're saying that's the guy, Mr. Garcia, right there. We want him in. I've seen comments on Facebook. They act like I don't see this. They act like we don't see this. We have.
I'm sorry to cut
Oh,
you
no.
off. So I guess you're kind of saying how unfair or how the political structure here is set, pretty much is what you're revealing to us, that they're not even willing to give you the opportunity to hear what you have to offer. They're just siding with, I guess, who's related with who knows who, or what have you. And he is coming with some, in my opinion, strong supporting agents. And I'll say it again, this is my opinion. I am not stating from fact, but I do think that the people he has around him are rather strong when it comes to harvesting, hauling, whatever it is you want to call. I mean, when you're able to call out, how many votes, everybody in a race gets here locally, you're plugged in. You're plugged into something that, because elections should be unpredictable, we don't know how people are going to vote. Now, when you're telling me, 1,700 here, 500 there, and this other person 300, it's like, what?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't want to go as far as to say, it is happening, it will happen, but let's not be surprised, right?
And I apologize to anybody if I'm getting really emotional, because as you can see, if I'm getting emotional about this means I care about my community. All right. I have nothing to lose doing this. If I lose, I'm going to go back to my family. I'm going to go back to going to school, focusing my career for teaching. And things are going to go back to normal. But I want to do this for everybody. I want to serve the community. These people deserve better. You all deserve better. Our veterans deserve better. And I just, it's not fair. And I'm not gonna, I just call it like I see it. I'm looking at these posts, and I have city council members liking his posts. Or he's not even posting anything. It's his buddies, his supporters, who are making huge Lord of the Ring novels on Facebook for him that didn't come from him, and he'll share it and like it. I've seen the mayor like his stuff. I've seen Mayor Pro Tem Yolanda Ramon post a big 100% comment on there. What does that tell me? What does that tell the people? His interview of him saying, or not having a platform and not wanting to tell the people what his platform was. And you have a county commissioner coming in there saying he's the right choice, pick him. That really tells you about a judge. Either it's a bad judge of character, or you're really trying to hold this man's hand. I can't let that slide, and you know what? You're a county official who just got into office. You probably have no business coming in endorsing people. That's just not fair. It's not. And I guarantee you, let's just use Mayor Salinas as an example. Okay, if he comes and tells me and says, hey, or likes my post, everything that I'm putting out, or he shares it, something like, nothing too direct. People are gonna see that. People are gonna see that, and they're gonna like, oh, well, if the mayor says this guy's good, or if he's liking all his posts, maybe we should vote for him. Without even looking at
it's an influence. It's an influence. Absolutely.
Yeah, so an endorsement says a lot, especially when it comes from city council or somebody in the upper tiers. It does, and people don't realize that, but it really does, and that can really either make or break a campaign or what. But and I would get it if they endorsed the man and he was better than me and he had a better platform than I did. That I would say hats off. Okay, I'm going to work harder to beat you, but okay, great. But with all due respect, nothing has been said, and now he doesn't want to debate me. So it says a lot, and I think the citizens really need to not buy into that. Honestly, give us a chance. I'm speaking for my opponents, my other opponents. Give us a chance. See what we have to offer.
And I'm listening to you, right? So what I'm gathering is you're revealing to us that it kind of seems already, a winner is selected almost, I guess, is what you're telling
That's
us
how I
pretty
feel.
much.
That's how I feel. That's how I feel. And that's why I
Yeah.
changed from this politically correct, come into, you know what? They already chose a guy anyways. Am I really gonna have anything to lose by rocking the boat and trying to get the citizens to wake up and to get out and vote? Because again, like I said in my last post, we need you guys. We need the voters out. I guarantee if everybody got up to vote, they're gonna outweigh the small group that tries to get the person that they want in. Guaranteed.
Yeah,
You guys have the
absolutely.
power. You just have to get up and do something about it. And that's why I'm here. I'm giving you an option. Okay? And if you've ever watched that movie A Bug's Life where the grasshoppers try to take over the ants, but you know what, the ants are far outnumber the grasshoppers, it's gonna bring some peace of mind.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, I couldn't agree with you more. It just seems that as you slowly go along and get to know, you'll get to a point where eventually you reach everybody in the whole scheme of things. Being that we are a small community, tight knit community, and I want to touch on one thing that you said, very specific, is that if you're able to bring out voters, you will succeed. Now, I think that was probably the most accurate thing you said. Not,
Yeah.
well, but you know what I'm
Yeah, I
trying
know
to
what you're
say.
talking about. Yeah.
That was dead on. Because it's a controlled vote here. People don't come out to vote, and that's the reason we end up with the officials that we have, and that's notorious. That has been. I think we get a little over 10% that votes. Definitely under 20%.
I think
And
Mayor Salinas won with what, like a little over 1,200 votes out of 18,000 voters. Am I not? Don't quote me
yeah,
on
so,
that.
so
But, that's what I heard.
yeah, and that's the thing, and is that the people that are here are good for about 700 votes or so, right?
Right.
And you gotta, I guess, dilute that vote with the voters that do not come out to be able to beat the counted people. I guess
Yeah.
don't want to get sued by those. You know how they are here. Uh, so yeah, I mean, there's people that are counted. So those counted people, you're saying, can be beat if some of these people that don't regularly come out and vote make the decision to vote here in 2023 for Ruben Camarillo. What's the difference you want to make? What's your top priority, Ruben?
Absolutely.
Let's. We already kind of got into the conversation. We're a little more comfortable. You get elected. What is your top priority?
My top priority is to keep the citizens involved. The citizens need hope. They need something to look forward to. They need to feel like they have power in somewhere because this is America. Give the power to the people. I need to give them that power. Somebody needs to give them that power, and I'm willing to do that. To give them a voice. I'm not here to be the voice of the voiceless. I'm here to give the voiceless a voice. That is what I want to do. And the more people do that, the more people are going to come out, the more people are going to want to share their ideas, and the more people are going to want to contribute to the community. Instead of saying, well, you know what? They're going to get voted in anyways. Nobody cares what I think. And you know what? Sometimes, I felt that way when I was doing citizens communications and coming up there and speaking. Apply that to 30,000 other people. It's an epidemic. And I want to change that.
Yeah, I will second that, saying that I believe administration with the city and our elected officials in the city have made a major turn and have not been vocal or at least transparent the way they, I go back to what I said. Everybody wants to be transparent until it actually comes to be transparent. Um, Now, one thing I want to, since we haven't touched on it, your other opponent, um, Ana Laura Herrera,
Uh-huh.
she came out early on, throwing the jabs to Mario Garcia, uh, pretty much saying that he was violating uh, the Texas code on, voting. You can't be uh, having any promotion. It's also a school district code. Any school that is funded by public funds needs to abide by it, where you cannot do any political campaigning during your working hours.
Right.
So she came up with, I guess, an email that she sent in trying to catch him. We've been trying to get her attention. She has not given us the time of day. But what are your thoughts on the candidate? I know you said you wanted to talk a little bit about both of them, but
I felt like she got scared. I think she had something going there because I know a couple of people who actually, my neighbor is actually someone who works with Eagle Pass High School, talk that, word spreads. And what I've heard, what I know is that it's a big no when you're working with the school district and you do something like that. That's from what I'm being told, and I believe it happened to somebody else. Someone got demoted because of it. I don't know who it was, but I think she got scared. I think she had something going, and I think people started trashing her, and she just kind of like, okay, well, maybe I better do something else or stay quiet. You really, if you're onto something, stick to it. Okay. I've tried to look up her platform. Again, I'm in the same boat you guys. I even stated that, because she was on a roll there. I even stated one of these times, I said, you know what, if I lose, I hope she wins. But as time progresses and I'm not seeing anything from her, it's kind of very eerie. Her platform is very identical to mine. I'm not going to say that she's copying me. I'm not going to be like, but it's just a very basic standard, back the blue, it really, and you read all her platform.
Cookie cutter.
Yeah, cookie cutter. There we go. The famous word. The famous word. It seems very cookie cutter, and you know what? Again, she had something there, and I saw everybody reaching out to her, and she's not saying anything. So, what are you supposed to think? I really, there's really not much you can say on that. Good luck.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of rumors circulating around her campaign that we've heard this and that. We've tried to reach out with her to try to get an interview. We do want her to clarify things. If there's anything, incorrect about her, I think that, she should be awarded the time to, clarify anything. I did like, and I appreciated the fact that she was willing to go as far as she did with that complaint. I know it probably fell on deaf ears. What else? What can you expect though when the EPISD superintendent allows a state rep to use school facilities to carry out political campaigning? Was just recently happened with the state rep borrowing the SAC facilities to host the transportation department to a little menudo from his business. But what made it incorrect is him posting, well, besides using the facility, but him posting in a political manner about it made it political. You can't strictly, like you said, you can't have political activity in school district facilities during school district time.
Right.
There's a lot of rumors about that we're going to be offering, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff that goes on like that. I appreciate someone standing up and trying to correct the thing that is wrong, because that's what, if we don't do that ourselves, it is apparent that somebody higher up is not doing it for us.
Right.
It's getting to a point where we're policing ourselves.
Yeah.
In this.
I appreciated it too. I'm like, wow, already? Like, we haven't even started yet, and she's already onto something. Like, great. this is awesome. And the public waited to see what else she was going to say, and she's being really silent. I really don't get, if you're not willing to talk to the public as a public servant, why are you running? If you're not willing to say anything, again, I'll go back to Mr. Garcia. If you're not willing to tell people what you're all about, how are we supposed to trust you to tell us, to be transparent? How are we going to trust you to tell us what's going on? How do we know that you're not just going to be an empty seat? And I'm kind of disappointed. Again, I thought maybe Miss Herrera was going to be a tough opponent, but I haven't seen anything from her, and I've seen people reach out to her and nothing. So it kind of makes you wonder what's going on. If it makes me wonder, it makes everybody else wonder.
No, of course. I mean, see, the thing is that I'm a strong believer in people that want to lead our community. I that's inspirational type thing. Right. Not everybody is made out for it, obviously, and I think that you see who is not made for this type of things. And one is the person that is not willing to debate. Two is the person that's not willing to reveal what they want to do if they're elected. I mean, we're literally voting for Mr. Garcia right now at this point is rolling the dice. Right. You don't know what you're going to get.
Right.
What we do know, he's being supported by, in my opinion, somebody that can pull some votes. And he has that going for him, which is something that is strong here, right?
Yeah.
But one big X on that, and right away, was something that I know we're kind of analyzing, and we talked about it earlier, but just the way the demeanor and the tone changed when thrown the debate. And I like that, Mr. Randa was willing to, ask him, because we were asking on the comments. I mean, I know I probably own 90% of those comments that I send into the video myself, but how would you have handled that situation compared to the way Mr. Garcia handled it? Because to me, I think that's very revealing of how he's going to handle things if he gets to office.
Hang on one second. I think I'm having some problems with my headset. Let me see if I can just take this off really quick. Hang on.
All right.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, I think my system kind of died a little bit. I got the. You want to just rephrase that for me one more time? Sorry about that.
No worries. What I was getting to was that how would you have reacted compared to the way Mr. Garcia reacted about being with the debate? Is that debate still on the table? If he changes his mind, would you be willing to still, debate him?
Absolutely. My reaction would be, bring it on. I love a challenge. I'm hungry. I want, even if I'm proven wrong or I look like a fool, at least I tried. It still stands. The challenge still stands. This definitely wasn't, well, he said no. Whew. No. I was disappointed when he said no. But if he does change his mind, that would make me super happy. I would love to discuss these dire issues that he really needs to discuss, or that all candidates need to discuss. That's why we're running. We're not running to jump on a bandwagon. We're running to because the city has issues. That's why we're running.
Now, has there been a debate issued to any other opponent that you're running against?
Not yet. I'm working on that. The reason why I chose Mr. Garcia, because he's apparently the biggest dog in the room, and I like to challenge the big dog in the room, and apparently he's not it. So next I will challenge Miss Herrera to debate. Actually, I'll challenge her now if she is willing to accept it. You know,
Oh, challenge being drawn down. Let's hear that. Let's hear
yeah,
that.
Miss Herrera, I really liked your platform was really unique when you put it on the internet or when you put it in uh, a big huge novel for all of us to see. But you know what? Let's see who can do it better. You know, let's find out. I want to see what you're all about, and I want to see if you have what it takes to lead, to help lead this community. And if you're better than me, hey, I'll accept it. But you know what? Challenge is issued.
Awesome, man. I like that. I like that boldness. Ruben, we're a little over the hour mark. I don't like to draw these things
Right.
out too much. We do need to continue this if you're willing to, sometime within the week or so, do a little follow up, or in a week, something like that.
Absolutely.
Check back with you again and see how the campaign trail's going. And I hate to throw it out there, but I am. If you guys need a place to host a debate, we're available.
Hey, anybody, I'm welcome. Anybody, whoever wants to do it, even if, like I said, even if a city council member wants to mediate, which I'm pretty sure is not allowed, anytime, anywhere.
Awesome. All right, Ruben. Well, we appreciate you hopping on. Like I said, none of the other candidates that you are running against have reached out to us or had responded to us. So we really appreciate that.
Of course.
Any last message you want to give out to the voters while you got them on?
Of course. Look, everybody, you know what? You can say that I'm not from Eagle Pass. You can say that, anything. But you know what? All I've ever done was serve. Okay. And I love this community. When I moved here, I was so infatuated with how people can come together. That is why, and it's on my back, that my slogan is stronger together, because this community is stronger together. All right. You have hope. There's hope. Okay. There's 30,000 of you guys. And I know there's a lot of you who are not happy with what's going on. I'm going to quote the great Captain Planet. If any old people know about Captain Planet, the power is yours. The power is yours. You can make a difference, whether you're voting for me, whether you're voting for Mr. Lopez, whether you're voting for Miss Herrera. I'm sorry, I'm not going to advertise Mr. Garcia, because we all know what my input is on that. You have the power to change it. Okay. Don't have that mentality anymore. We need to change it. It starts now. Okay. Now is the time to change. We are stronger together. I love you guys. I'm ready to make the ultimate sacrifice, because that is what leading a community is. Sacrifice, not sitting around and just with my picture on the, on the corner of Bibb Street, hoping that someone's going to vote for me. Not an option. I'm here for you guys. I'm ready to give it my all, and I'm going to do my best to give you guys the power and the voice. Thank you guys. Come out and vote. April 24th is early voting all the way to May 2nd. And of course, May 6th is election day. Thank you guys for watching this. Thanks, Isaac. Thank you so much for I know you've been busy. Thanks for doing this for me. I've reached out to a lot of people. Nobody really wants to approach me. So you're the first by far. So I mean, I'm not going to count Eagle Pass Business Journal, because again, they gave me 2 minutes free, and I got 30 seconds cut off and couldn't even get my full name in yet. So, but thank you.
No, yeah, no worries, man. We'll be talking, I guess, and communicate and set up a follow-up to this. And we hope to hear something about a debate coming up soon.
Absolutely.
All right,
All right,
man.
guys.
Have a nice
Everybody
night.
have a good night. Thanks, Isaac. Have a good night.